Hello and welcome to another video. Today, as you can tell from the title and the thumbnail, I am bringing you my Retellings TBR. So I did this with my spooky books and I did this with my graphic novels a while back. It's basically some of the top retellings that I have on my physical TBR, which I want to get to, I say fairly soon, but this is me, it won't be fairly soon, let's be honest. So I'm going to start off with a couple of sequels. So first up, we have the Chronicles of Alice books by Christina Henry. I have read Alice, which is book 1. I do still need to read Red Queen and Looking Glass. I really enjoyed Alice. It's very dark. It's so well written. I love Christina Henry's writing. And I just love how dark she can make everything, because if you think about it, Alice in Wonderland is pretty like, not exactly light, but she just makes it so dark and I love it. So yeah, I do want to get to both of these fairly soon. I do think it is only a trilogy, so hopefully there won't be any more additions to add to the TBR for this series. And then the other sequel is Sea Witch Rising by Sarah Henning. I read Sea Witch earlier this year and really enjoyed it. It is essentially an Ursula and Little Mermaid retelling. It's very not explicitly mentioned it's Ursula and Ariel and that, but it is very obvious by the end of the first book that it is Ursula, and this is the sequel. So in the first one you sort of find out how Ursula becomes the Sea Witch, and then this one, by the sounds of things, is essentially the actual Little Mermaid retelling. A mermaid makes a deal with the Sea Witch to give up her life as a mermaid in exchange for a human soul, and there's a deadline, and it is essentially a Little Mermaid retelling. So I'm very excited for this one because it is a direct retelling by the sounds of things. So there is that sequel. Next up we have a series which I am halfway through. So it is the Disney Villains series. These are all by Serena Valentino, sorry. So I have already read the first 3, which is Fairest of All, The Beast Within and Poor Unfortunate Soul. I do still have Mistress of All Evil, Mother Knows Best, I'm going to have that song stuck in my head now, and The Odd Sisters, and I did look it up and there is going to be, or there might already be, a 7th book which is Cruella de Vil, which if it is already out, I am going to be getting my hands on that very soon. So like I said, I have read these 3 and they were so good. They're very quick reads, like the writing is very big, and I loved the 3 that I read, and I especially love, let me see if I can show you without breaking the spine, the covers. So on the front cover you see the villain, but then you turn it around and it's how they end up by the end of the films from the original Disney ones. Obviously with Ursula we have when she's Vanessa, and I just think they're so cleverly done. I love the covers for these. The other series I have not started at all, and I am missing 3. So I'm missing book 6, and I think I'm missing book 9 and 11, but they are still coming out. So this is the Twisted Tales series. So we have A Whole New World, Once Upon a Dream, As Old as Time, Reflection, Part of Your World, Mirror Mirror, Straight On Till Morning, So This Is Love, and Go the Distance. So after, I believe it's Mirror Mirror, there should be Conceal Don't Feel, and then after So This Is Love, there should be Unbirthday, and then there should be another one after Go the Distance that I don't have yet, and I cannot remember what it's called. But yeah, I really want to read these. I haven't really heard many people talk about them, but I love the idea of Twisted Tales because I love Disney and I love dark retellings. So I'm very excited to get stuck into these. I think I'm gonna do maybe a dedicated reading vlog where I read a chunk of these. I don't think I could do it all in a week. To be fair, the writing is a little bit bigger than from the villains. So I could maybe do them all in a week. Maybe. But they are still being released. I did look it up, and the next one to be released is actually a Princess and the Frog retelling, which means we're going to get Dr. Facilier, which I'm here for. And I'm low-key hoping they bring out a Dr. Facilier one for this, because I love Princess and the Frog. Another thing with these, I don't know necessarily if the Twisted Tales are linked, but with the villains you do kind of have to read them in order. And the only reason I know that is because the Odd Sisters, which is book 6, those sisters are mentioned in every single one of these, and they do kind of connect. So for these I would actually suggest reading them in the order they're published, but for the Twisted Tales I don't think you have to. Don't take my word from that. I do not know. When I read them, I will be reading them in publication order, just in case, because I don't want to chance it. Plus, I like to read things in publication order. For me, I feel like there's a reason they were published in that order, so I'll read them in that order. So then the rest, I've got a fairly big pile of retellings that I would like to get to. So first up we have a Rumpelstiltskin retelling, which is Twisted by Bonnie M. Hennessy. I believe this is a self-published, and this was gifted to me by my friend Kyra, but it's got the girl who uncovered Rumpelstiltskin's name. An old tale tells the story of how a little man named Rumpelstiltskin spun straw into gold and tricked a desperate girl into trading away her baby. But that's not exactly how it happened. The real story began with a drunken father who kept throwing money away on alcohol and women, while his daughter ran the family farm on her own. When he gambled away everything they owned to the Duke, it was up to her to spin straw into gold to win it all back. With her wits and the help of a magical guardian, she outsmarted the Duke and saved the day. Well, almost. Her guardian suddenly turned on her and sent her on a quest to find his name, the clues to which were hidden deep in the woods, a mouldy dungeon, and a dead woman's chamber. This is not the tale of a damsel in distress, but a tenacious young woman who solved a mystery so great that not even the enchanted man who spun straw into gold could figure it out. I really like the idea of a Rumpelstiltskin retelling. I've never read one before, so I'm very intrigued. And I did actually have this on a TBR a while back, and I just didn't get to it because that was quite a big TBR. It was my Eurovision-a-thon TBR, and I mean that was a 40 book TBR. It wasn't going to happen, and unfortunately I didn't get to this, but hopefully. Next up, we have A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. So this is a Hades and Persephone retelling, and apparently this is spicy. And oh, there's the gift note. This was actually gifted to me by Ashley from Authority Fiction, so thank you, Ashley. I really want to read this soon. I have recently heard that whilst the first one is really good, the second one just doesn't hold up to the same standard. But nevertheless, I'm excited to read this one, and then we'll see what the sequel's like if I like this. But I'm really excited to read this. We know I like a bit of smut, so a Hades Persephone retelling with smut, yes please. So it's got Persephone is the goddess of spring by title only. The truth is, since she was a little girl, flowers have shriveled at her touch. After moving to New Athens, she hopes to lead an unassuming life disguised as a mortal journalist. Hades, god of the dead, has built a gambling empire in the mortal world, and his favourite bets are rumoured to be impossible. After a chance encounter with Hades, Persephone finds herself in a contract with the god of the dead, and the terms are impossible. Persephone must create life in the underworld or lose her freedom forever. The bet does more than expose Persephone's failure as a goddess, however. As she struggles to sow the seeds of her freedom, love for the god of the dead grows, and it's forbidden. Do you see why I need this in my life? This is actually higher up on my TBR than some of the others on this list, so yeah. Next up we have an Arthurian retelling, and that is Legendborn by Tracy Dion. I am possibly going to be reading this in November. I think there's going to be a whole buddy read. I am a bit worried about reading this because of how small the writing is, so I might have to see if I can get the audiobook to listen along. But this sounds really good. So it's got some legacies are meant to be broken. After her mother dies in an accident, 16-year-old Bree Matthews wants to escape. A residential program for bright high schoolers seems like the perfect opportunity until she witnesses a magical attack her first night on campus. A flying demon feeding on human energies, a secret society of so-called legend-born that hunt the creatures down, a mysterious mage who calls himself a Merlin and who attempts and fails to wipe Bree's memory of everything she saw. The mage's failure unlocks Bree's own unique magic and a buried memory from the night her mother died. Now Bree will do whatever it takes to discover the truth, even infiltrate the legend-born. But when the legend-born reveal themselves as the descendants of King Arthur's knights and foretell a magical war, Bree must decide how far she'll go for the truth. Should she use her magic to take the society down or join the fight? It sounds so good. I have heard so many good things. Ro from Wandering Through Worlds absolutely loves this, and I trust her judgment on books, so I'm really looking forward to reading this. And like I said, I'm hoping to get this on my November TBR because I believe there is a buddy read going on with some people from Ro's Patreon Discord, so fingers crossed this might be read very soon. Next up we have a middle grade, and that's Rameses by Radia Hafiza. I think that's how you pronounce the name. So this is, I believe, a Rapunzel retelling, but I believe it also has a Cinderella retelling in it and possibly Sleeping Beauty. So it's got step into a once upon a time where anything is possible. For as long as she can remember, Rameses has been locked away in her tower, forced to spin straw into gold for the evil witch, unable to leave. So there's a bit of Rumpelstiltskin there as well. Until one day, after dropping a hijab out of her small window, Rameses realises how she might be able to escape. And it's got this funny and enchanting debut, weaves together 3 stories, spinning the classic fairy tale to show that anyone could be a hero. Yet I'm sure it's Cinderella and Sleeping Sarah. So yeah, Sleeping Beauty, Rapunzel and Cinderella are the original stories, and this is the retellings for them. So this is really cute as well. It's got little things on the pages. I'm gonna see if I can fit this in November as well, because obviously this is middle grade, so if I pull a card from Believeathon that this will fit for. And this could actually also work for the Fairy Godmother prompt on Royal Readathon, because that's to read a book with a classic storyline, which this has got 3 classic storylines in it. Technically 4, because you've got the spinning straw into gold, which is kind of Rumpelstiltskin. So you might see this on my November TBR as well. Next up we have Wonderland by Juno Dawson. So this is very obviously an Alice in Wonderland retelling. This was gifted to me. This was actually a birthday present from my sister, so thank you, Tony. This I saw Beth at Book's Nest. She read an e-arc of this, or she read an ebook version of this, and she really loved it, and I ended up gifting it to her for her birthday or something like that. Or like, I think it was a wishlist gift thread thing, and I gifted her this because I remember in her vlog just how much she loved it. And she obviously wanted a final, like a finished copy, like physical copy, because it was on her wish list. But where is it's not on the back, it's on the inside. So it's got Alice Dodgson lives in a world of stifling privilege and high-end luxury, but none of it means anything when her own head plays tricks on her reality. When her troubled friend Bunny goes missing, Alice becomes obsessed with finding her and discovers a mysterious invitation to Wonderland, the elite party to end all parties. Will she find Bunny there, or is this really a case of finding herself? Because Alice has secrets of her own, and now she has a new enemy who wants her head. So yeah, I think this is a bit of a darker one, but I'm really looking forward to reading it because I've heard very good things about it, and I've never read anything by Juno Dawson, and I keep hearing everyone rave about the books. So I thought this would be a good one to start with for their work because it's a retelling. Next up we have The Beast's Heart by Leaf Shellcross. So obviously this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I don't really know anything about this, but I saw it in a Forbidden Planet, I think it was, and really liked the sound of it. And I'm pretty sure this was a birthday present off of someone, but I cannot remember who because it wasn't from my wish list. so there's no note, which is really annoying because I can't remember now. But the blurb literally just says, I am neither monster nor man, yet I am both. I am the beast. I know why I was cursed. I know the legacy of evil I carry in my tainted blood. So how could she ever love me? My Isabel. She opened my eyes, my mind and my heart when I was struggling just to be human. And now I might lose her forever. It sounds really good. I love this cover. Look at the reflection. That is stunning. I'm obsessed. But yeah, it's Beauty and the Beast, and obviously I like Beauty and the Beast, so I thought I would give it a go. We've only got a few more left. How creaky is my chair? That's gonna get frustrating. So next up we have Sherwood by Megan Spooner. This is very obviously a Robin Hood retelling. This I don't actually know. I don't think I've read the synopsis for this. My friend gifted me this because she was getting rid of, well, she didn't really gift it to me, she was getting rid of it, and I just paid some postage and I've got this. So I'll read the blurb because I don't know anything about it. Robin of Locksley is dead. Oh, okay, more of a continuation then. Maid Marian doesn't know how she'll go on, but the people of Locksley Town, persecuted by the Sheriff of Nottingham, need a protector, and the dreadful Guy of Gisborne, the Sheriff's right hand, wishes to step into Robin's shoes as Lord of Locksley and Marian's fiancé, who is there to stop them. Marian never meant to tread in Robin's footsteps, never intended to stand as a beacon of hope to those awaiting his triumphant return, but with a sweep of his green cloak and a flash of her sword, Marian makes the choice to become her own hero, Robin Hood. Oh, okay, so this is kind of a retelling because it's like, what if Robin died and Maid Marian took his place? So bit of girl power, I'm here for that. That actually sounds really good, and now I want to read it now. It's got the lady becomes the legend. Oh, see, now I want to read it now. This was both a good and bad idea because now I want to start reading books now. But yeah, so really like the sound of this, and I love Robin Hood, so yeah. Next up we have Lost in the Neverwoods by Aidan Thomas. So this is obviously a Peter Pan retelling, and look at the cover. I love that cover. This is gorgeous. So I'm just going to go straight in with a synopsis because this sounds like a very dark retelling. When children go missing, people want answers. It's been 5 years since Wendy and her two brothers vanished into the woods near the small coastal town of Astoria, Oregon. Wendy returned with no memory of where she had been or what had happened to her. Her brothers did not. When the town's children start to disappear, the mystery around her brothers is brought back into the light, and the police are once again knocking on Wendy's door for answers. Attempting to flee her past, Wendy almost runs over an unconscious boy lying in the middle of the road. Peter, a boy she thought lived only in her stories, asks for Wendy's help to rescue the missing kids. But in order to find them, Wendy must confront what's waiting for her in the woods. So yeah, this sounds really good. I've not really seen many people talking about it though. So obviously Aidan Thomas's other book is Cemetery Boys, which everyone talks about, everyone loves. It is on my TBR this month. It is the next book I'll be reading after my current read. And this one, it came out in April and no one really talks about it. And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but I don't care. I'm still going to read it anyway. I'm really intrigued by it. I love Peter Pan retellings. So this is definitely one I'm looking forward to getting to. The penultimate one on my list is The Shadow in the Glass by J.J.A. Harwood. So this is a Cinderella retelling and I am really looking forward to reading this. I was hoping to get it on my October TBR. Did not happen, unfortunately, because of the way the prompts worked. But considering Cinderella is actually one of my least favourite Disney films, I love retellings of Cinderella. I think if they're done right, they are done right. But I'm going to read you the blurb. Once upon a time, Ella wished for more than a life as a lowly maid. Now, forced to work hard under the unforgiving, lecherous gaze of the man she once called stepfather, Ella's only refuge is in the books she reads by candlelight, secreted away in the library she isn't permitted to enter. One night, among her beloved books of far-off lands, Ella's wishes are answered. At the stroke of midnight, a fairy godmother makes her an offer that will change her life. 7 wishes, hers to make as she pleases. Joy, opportunity, comfort, and even love are within her reach once more. But each wish comes at a price, and Ella must decide whether it's one she's willing to pay. So I think the reason I like the sound of this most is because there's going to be consequences. Whatever wishes she chooses, there's going to be consequences. And I'm here for that because magic comes at a price. But yeah, I also love this edition. This is the Lit Joy edition, which is absolutely stunning and has a reverse dust jacket. I'm going to show you it. It's gorgeous. I do also have the e-arc for this, so yeah. But yeah, this is also very high up on my list. I've said that about quite a few of these, but this is one of the ones that's like higher up than others because obviously I do have the e-arc and it came out in, I think it was May, so I do want to kind of get to it sooner rather than later so that I can review it and pick up my NetGalley ratio a little bit because it's not doing great. So yeah. And then the final book on this list is Malice by Heather Water. So this is a dark sleeping beauty retelling with a sapphic relationship. So it's not quite Sleeping Beauty and Maleficent. It is Aurora and a dark fairy, but I don't think it's specifically Maleficent because obviously Maleficent was like, I don't even know how old when Aurora was born, and I think Aurora is a teenager in this, so that'd be a bit weird. So I think it is just a dark fairy who's around about the same age as Aurora. But this was gifted to me. There's no note in it because I remember this. My friend Charlie gifted me this and I remember getting it and there was no note, so I posted on social media like, oh my god, who got me this? Thank you so much. But there was no note, and she messaged me. She was like, that was me. I was in a rush to send it and forgot to do a note. So thank you again, Charlie, for that. I do keep meaning to put a little note in here, like stick a note in here to say that it was Charlie, because obviously I don't have a ready-made Amazon note. But this, very excited for this, so I'm going to read the blurb. Once upon a time, there was a wicked fairy who cursed a line of princesses to die, a curse that could only be broken by true love's kiss. Utter nonsense. Let me tell you, no one actually cares about what happens to our princesses. I thought I didn't care either until I met her. Princess Aurora, the last heir to the throne, the future queen her realm needs, one who isn't bothered that I am dark grace, abhorred and feared for the mysterious dark magic that runs in my veins. Aurora says I should be proud of my gifts, that she cares for me, even though it was a power like mine that was responsible for her curse. But with less than a year until that curse kills her, any future I might see with Aurora is swiftly disintegrating, and she can't stand to kiss yet another insipid prince. I want to help her. If my power began her curse, perhaps it's what can lift it. Perhaps together we could forge a new world. Nonsense again, because we all know how this story ends, don't we? Aurora is the beautiful princess, and I am the villain. This sounds so good. Like, it's from the point of view of the villain, who's obviously not going to be a villain. Like, but this sounds amazing. I've heard kind of mixed reviews. I've not seen anyone specifically not like this, but it has sort of been like, the people that haven't liked it have just thought it was okay. But a few people have loved it, so I'm hoping I am one of the people that loves it. And I'm very excited. And this is a gorgeous hardback. I love the hardback. I don't think there's anything underneath the hardback. No, there's nothing underneath the hardback, but it's still beautiful. And I really like this cover. The US cover, I believe, I'm not a big fan of. So I'm really glad I got this one. So again, thank you, Charlie. So that was everything. I do actually have another Frozen, like I have a Frozen retelling, which is called Let It Go by Jen Kalanita, which funnily enough I thought was actually the Frozen one that was part of this series, because it's from the same author. It's from Jen Kalanita, which obviously some of these are by Elizabeth Lim, Liz Braswell, sorry, and Jen Kalanita. So when I saw a Frozen retelling by Jen Kalanita and the cover kind of looked like it matched these, I was like, amazing, there's the Frozen one. it is not part of the Twisted Tales. So that is kind of on my list as well, but not as high up. And I need to still get Conceal Don't Feel, which is the correct Frozen retelling for the Twisted Tales. I do also have a Loki retelling. However, it's from an author that has made some questionable decisions, and I don't really want to promote the author on here. So whilst I will read it because I bought the book before I found out about the author, I'm not gonna promote it, but I am still gonna read it because one, it's Loki, and two, I already owned it, so I might as well just read it. But that is all of the, I think that's all of the retellings on my TBR. I've probably forgotten some. You're probably looking at my shelves and can see one and are like, well, why haven't you added that? I think I've got all the ones that I haven't yet read. Obviously, there are some on here that I have read. So, for example, Law and Court of Miracles are retellings of Greek mythology and Les Mis. I've read both of those, but I've read them, so they do not count. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If there is any here that you think I should prioritise that I haven't already said I'm prioritising, let me know. Let me know if you've read any of these as well. I would love to know. And let me know if there's any retellings that you have on your radar that I might like, because I mean, I have like a whole shelf of retellings. I can happily add to that shelf. I will happily add to it. But for now, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Bye.